When filming Heartbreak High, was enough reasonable adjustments made for you to feel comfortable on set from the start?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I wouldn't work with a production company that didn't allow adjustments. I'm not going to give myself to someone who wasn't going to give themselves to me. Um, when I got this job, and they obviously knew this already, because I have always been incredibly vocal about how horrendous the work industry, particularly the television and film industry, is for disabled and autistic people. So they were well aware of my stance on it beforehand, and yet they still chose to hire me. And literally the day that I got the job, I was having phone calls and Zoom meetings with the directors, with the producers, with the costume designers, with every single person going into this show, asking them, how can we make this accessible for you? And when I flew off and I moved to Sydney for the 5 months, I had meetings in person with them going, how can we accommodate you? What do you need us to do? It was never, you need to do this for us. It was, how can we help you? And that it didn't cost them anything extra. It didn't take any extra time. It literally did not change the film set for the worse for any of them whatsoever. In fact, all of my castmates told me within a week of them asking what my accommodation needs were, it was spilling out to all of them too. And all of them, all of their accommodation, because every single human being has needs. Every single human being has accessibility needs, regardless of what they may be. And it was spilling out to the rest of the cast and crew as well, where everyone's accessibility needs were being met. And yeah, just from day one, it was never seen as a fault of my own or an issue of my own. It was just seen as, this is a human being who has different needs to mine. Great. How can we support that?
It's so important that though that workplaces really adjust, and it's something that I'm trying to work on myself. Part of my project to do is to get work placements to adjust to the community, to the autistic communities, people with autism, to have a sensory room. If you have a staff room, you should have a sensory room. You should have a, whatever it is that that person needs, because there shouldn't be. It should be completely accessible. So equal rights to all.
Oh, and it's not that difficult. And we saw that during COVID, like the amount of people with chronic illnesses that can't go into a typical workforce. And they're like, hey, can we work at home? And the workplace is like, no, you can't do that. And then COVID happens and everyone has to work at home. And it was easy.
Yeah.
And like, it's like, okay, well, now that the wider community needs it, you can do it. But when it's just a minority, you can't do it. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. It will happen with using your voice and so many other people, myself and other people involved. Together, we will make it happen for sure.